because I don't want to do it. That's all part of the skill to make much more sense to me.
So I gave Friedman my pictures.
Not on yet. There's an on-off switch on. There's an on-off switch.
I remember I swapped
I finished
Good morning,
Good morning.
and it's wonderful to see this many of you here because many of the colleagues were up very late discussing many things in the lobby. And I don't know about you guys, but yesterday was one of the best conference days I remember in terms of quality of speakers and organization. And let us begin our day by thanking our wonderful team back there, led by Audrey, for making this event possible. We're going to get started right away with our first speaker of the day. Nancy Malacaria is from Norwood, Massachusetts, and has been married to her husband Jack for 27 years. They own a cleaning business and have 6 children and 13 grandchildren. Jack and Nancy are also lifelong experiencers who work with The Project, which is the organization of all the races that visit Earth. Since 1990, they have been speaking publicly about their experience and the knowledge that has been imparted to them. Nancy is the author of The Project at Earth, Book 1, which is composed of her journal entries of their hundreds of encounters with the beings they have met. Book 2 and 3 will be following. And I should also add that Nancy has the table in the back left of our auditorium here, where her book is available. So please give a big welcome to our first speaker of the day, Nancy Malacaria.
Good morning. Thank you for being here. Thanks for getting up so early. As Peter said, my husband and I are lifelong experiencers. This began for us in 1990 when our alien friends openly revealed themselves to us. And my husband and I both had had spiritual experiences with different kinds of beings, psychic experiences our whole lives. And when the alien people revealed themselves physically, we realized that they were some of the beings we had always had experiences with. And that had remained hidden from us until it was time. When we first met the first alien person, it was like the rug was ripped right out from under our lives. Nothing we had ever thought was true. Nothing the way we ever thought things were was real. And we were in shock. We didn't know what to think. And the alien people didn't tell us that they were alien people. We had to figure that out. And luckily, they helped us. As our experiences went on, I was writing. I was journaling anyway because our youngest son had been very sick and he almost died. And it was so soul-shaking to me that I began journaling as a way of coping. So I loved journaling, I kept doing it. So when we started to have overt physical alien experiences, my way of dealing was to write. Most of the things happened to my husband when he was alone, away from me. And it was very clear that he needed to be away from me for it to happen. The things that I saw were just as overt and physical, but it was not my role to deal with that. My role was to write and to support him, and I did. I kept writing, and my first book is my journals of the first 18 months of our experiences. We met many beings of 15 different races in that time, and all of our experiences are educational for the purpose of learning from them and helping others. We're deliberately not given evidence, because if we had evidence, we would be shut up. We don't have sensitive secrets about government or about space travel. The things that the alien people show us, we understand it the way we understand it. And if we misunderstand something in a large enough way, our alien friends correct it. So we have a great benefit of the security of knowing that everything they share with us, we are free and safe to share with everyone else. What we were taught about is the project. And the project is what they call it. And it is a noun and a verb. It's a noun because it is an organization, and it's a verb because it is organizing, ongoing organization. In 1990, when my husband and I were introduced to the project, there were 170 races visiting Earth. 30 of those were working together, and they are the founding 30. The project was already thousands of years old, but our race is at a point. It's all about us. Now, not only are we capable and willing to meet the other races, but we're in desperate need. Our planet and our race is not doing well, and if we continue on the path that we are on, we are not going to make it. And the alien races have a strict jurisdiction, what they can do and can't do. There are rules in space and laws, and for a race to be allowed to travel, they have to stay in those guidelines. There are larger organizations of laws that govern what races can do. You can't just go to another world and take over. But our world is misled by our world. We built technology and then we used it against ourselves. And it's not us, it's not you and me, it's just a few people on Earth that are making these rules, and the rest of us, for some reason, we're so good and so loyal and trusting that we believe the government, the government. Few of us, not enough of us, are asking the alien people. If you want to know about the alien people, you have to ask the alien people. Just like with religion, if you want to learn about God, so you go to church and you study what everybody writes and what everybody thinks, you're really learning about that race of people. You're not learning about God. If you want to learn about God, you go right to God. You can use religion too, but it's the same thing with the field because it's human nature. We have to go to the source and think for ourselves. If you have experiences, then you have the ability to learn everything you need to know. In 1990, there were 170 races visiting Earth. 30 of them were working together. Since 1990, more humans have accepted the task and the effort to get to know the aliens, to help other people. Since then, more humans work with the alien people, so the alien people have benefited greatly from our guidance because we're a unique race. Every race is unique. And once we get to know the alien people, we get used to how they look. We get used to how they feel, how they act, how they move. Their technology is really scary, but once you realize it's technology, you can get over that. Their natural abilities are like magic, But once you try, you get over that. And what my husband and I do is witness those things and then help other people so that they can then become more productive in whatever it is they do with the alien people. The experiences are, first of all, spiritual, which means natural. Spirit. We're all spirit. Not only is there life after death, but there's life before life. We're already us before we come here. Nobody's here by accident. The alien people are just more people we're doing all this with. But we as humans don't really get it yet. We make up a lot of things that are not true, and we believe those things. And the more people that assume and repeat that those things are true, the more we assume it must be right. But it's really just that we're all the same. We think in the same way. It doesn't mean that it's true. It doesn't mean, if we're afraid of the alien people, it doesn't mean that the alien people are scary. If they do something with technology that scares us, it doesn't mean they did it on purpose. Since 1990, some of our races around us have begun to visit because there was no reason to visit before. So more races are visiting. There are 218 races visiting Earth, and that's our number. Those are the races around us that are within distance that they can get here and get home again. A few races that were visiting Earth were taking advantage of humans because they could, because they needed to, and there was nobody here to ask, and there was nobody here to stop them. The other visiting races stepped in and fixed that. And we said no. Not our government, but we. The experiencers said, no, you're not doing that to us anymore. And we employed the assistance of our most advanced visiting races. There were a few races visiting, taking advantage of us. They're no longer visiting. As of April 2000, the last visiting race, visiting Earth, joined the organization. As of that day, all of our races, all of our visiting races are working together and sharing information. Mostly psychology in working with us, and we help them. Now we are progressive. Every race gets to this point at their unique point where they discover other life. We just made this big mistake where we developed technologies and then a few people used it against ourselves. Now it's like we're in a bubble, and our leadership is keeping the aliens away by threatening us. If the alien people tell us something, if we know something, we're in danger of our own government. So the alien people have to sneak in, and they are desperately seeking people willing to work with them and learn things and help save our world and to progress. They aren't here to save us, they're here anyway, but what we need is a lot of help. We call them aliens. It's all right to call them that because we don't have another word, but we're all alien to each other. Our bodies are literally made out of our home worlds. The light beings are made out of their home worlds, which are stars. All of the alien people are alive and physical just like we are, but when we meet, it's usually just by spirit. It's always by spirit and also sometimes physically. But when they meet with us, they're teaching. They're showing us things that we have to process and try to understand. When they just show up, we miss the whole aspect of how and why contact happens. We miss the whole aspect of all life, which is spirit. Our natural abilities, we're all a little psychic. At this point in our evolution, we're where we are supposed to be psychically. But the other races that visit Earth are much further evolved and in all different directions. And they can do things in a greater way than we can, psychically or naturally. So they can meet us wherever our abilities leave off. That's why we can have great spiritual experiences with them and not so much with each other. That's why when we meet them, it's sort of like meeting them sort of tickles a spot in our mind, in our brain that wakes up. And then we can experience more things around us for some time. But that's a learning experience. And that helps us understand why we need to bring our races together, why we need to help each other, why we need to promise peace. And all of the other races are peaceful. If you're not peaceful, you're not allowed to travel. It doesn't mean that everyone gets along. It doesn't mean that they all agree. It means they don't hurt each other when they disagree. Our race, we still hurt ourselves when we disagree. We hurt ourselves for nothing. And the advanced races do not breed the kind of problems we have on our world that make us so desperate and sick. They actually apply the methods that work well to fix things. Diplomacy, mental health, physical health, ecology, all of that. We have people on our planet that can do those things already, but they're not allowed to. And things are at such a point now on our world that we can't fix it anymore. We can't turn things around again ourselves. We need the help now of our visiting races. All of the alien people have names. Please stop calling them it. Do that for yourself. They're males and females. They're born. They have babies. They can get sick. They can get hurt. They die at the end of hopefully the end of their natural lifespan, which is hundreds of years. To the longest living race that visits Earth lives to be about 1,000 years old, counted in Earth years. And that race is a race of light. And they have been evolving for over 6 billion years. And this race is highly respected by every other race. And this race, and one person of this race, is the head of the organization here. His real name is Tsar. I don't know where his star is, but it takes 17 days to get there at greater than light speed. And my husband, Jack, is related to him by soul from before. And Tsar is still alive in his first life. My husband and I both are in our 5th lives, our 4th on Earth. And we have always known them by spirit and worked with them and tried to employ what we learned from them on Earth. This is Demetrius. He is my brother. Same as with Tsar and my husband Jack. Dimitri's my brother. He's in his 5th life still. And because this world is, and our race is the way it is, which is, it's not our fault or anything, but when the alien people try to work here, they have to live with us. They have to live in our race. So they reincarnate into our race. 10% of alien experiencers are directly of alien soul. The rest of the alien experiencers are descendants of the 10%. When we reproduce, our bodies reproduce a body. But also our spirit, our soul, is somehow physical in a different way, and we reproduce spiritually as well. We pass on the traits of our spirit to our children. We also pass on the relationship, and then our children may choose, it's always a choice, to take advantage of their heritage. They have the option to work with the alien races. Because of the way our politics are right now, the alien people are only allowed to directly interfere with the lives of their own related humans. And since 1990 and beyond that I know of, only with willing, only those willing. Now there's an overlap when the alien people are trying to meet you. You have to have enough information first, and it's a process to know what you're saying yes or no to, and it can be very difficult. When the alien people are trying to meet you, you've heard all the stories, it's kind of crazy. And then you get to a point, yes or no. If you do not want to work with the alien races in any way, you don't. Spiritually, you may continue your relationship, but on a physical level, if you don't want to, you don't. That is a very important main part of the project itself, is to respect humans. Hopefully, it continues, and I believe that it will, that more and more humans will continue to learn more things from the other races and then apply them to our own world. Because the other races can't take over. If they could, we wouldn't be in this mess. We can make the choice. We don't have to wait for anyone in a desk in the government to make the choice. We can choose, because this is our world, just as much as any other person on our planet. It's our world. We can decide to invite and accept the other races to help us. If we ask for their help and they help us, it's not them interfering. And then if we are very brave, if we stick together, we can apply these things to our world. And if we learn from the alien races, then we don't have to depend on our government to tell us who they are and what they're doing. And the government only knows about the aliens what the aliens want them to know. The government is not being taught about the other races. We are. The individual alien people that come here are the professionals of their races. They are representing their world to us and to each other. There are no rogue alien people flying around. There's no drive-by shootings. There's no random abductions. Mistakes do happen. They're not perfect. Things do happen. But all in all, it's very deliberate and very careful and planned a long time ahead. If we went to work in China, we would live in a hotel there, and we would come home once or twice a year. That's what the alien races They're in crews. There's a main representative that stays, and his immediate people that stay, and then we have visiting students and family. Even their pets can come and visit because they have to stay here. Once or twice a year they go home. They have like vacation time. They go home in shifts, and they do that when we do that, which is usually around holiday time. They take their work with us very, very seriously. A lot of people will say they have no emotion. It's just that they're so telepathic that we look at them and they're not doing this, you know? And they're so serious when we meet them, they'll stand there and stand still and let you look at them and let you process, not just at the moment, but over weeks. And they're just as emotional as we are, but they usually laugh by telepathy. They don't have to do this. You know, they don't have to turn to look at you, you know, to let you know they're thinking something. Every race is unique and alien to each other. We can't share atmosphere. Our bodies are literally made out of our home worlds. Pollen doesn't just make them sneeze, it can kill them. When they come here and when they visit each other, they use technology and natural abilities to affect that contact. But when they come here, they're actively hunted. And this is a very hostile environment. Even the most wonderful little girl might claw at them if she saw them. It's very hostile here. When they meet with each other on a ship or on each other's worlds for some reason, they're usually out of body or by technology, but they're set up and they're not trying to hurt each other. A great deal of their contact with us is out of body. It's much safer. But even out of body, there's a physical aspect to being out of body. Our out of body spirit gets affected by environment, by what's in the air or in the world. So they have to be very careful doing that. Time is very short. If they get trapped here, and that does happen, they die. If something's wrong, suddenly wrong, and something happens, they don't send more alien people in because they don't know what's wrong. We go. If the alien people are in distress, we go. We go out of body because we're safe here. The race that visits Earth that can live the longest in our atmosphere is Xylem's race. This is his real name, Xylem. And he's actually human. He has the exact same genetics we have. Our race came from his race as DNA. Our DNA developed and evolved uniquely over great time on this world. We fit our own world. We're just as alien to his race now as any other race. But we're enough alike, there's enough similarities that if he got trapped here, the longest he would live on our world is 2 hours. But it would not be he wouldn't be walking around talking. He would be unconscious and dying, and at 2 hours we couldn't resuscitate him. Most of the visiting races cannot be exposed to anything in our atmosphere at all, the same as we can't. There are two basic kinds of races, what we call physical matter like us and the light races. Most races are physical matter like us. A few of them are light. They're created intelligent from their beginning. We call them people. They are people. but they're more accurately described as intelligent energy. They have the greatest ability, the greatest intelligence, and they're the most highly respected. There's one race that visits Earth that is pretty rare, pretty special. It's not completely unheard of, but in his race, the people are born, they're physical, the way we are, and then there's a metamorphosis during their life when each of the people changes into light. But that's very special. Normally, a race is physical matter and continues to evolve. Thank you, Peter. Continues to evolve physically. We don't turn into light. We're created as we are, and we continue. Every advanced race visits its neighbors around them as far as they can visit and get back home reasonably. And they do that all the way around them, and this creates a network across space through which they share information. All of our visiting races come from nearby in our galaxy. Yeah, how do I switch? They come from nearby in our galaxy. Most of them come, see this little arrow right here? Most of them come from our own arm, Orion. And just a few of our visiting races come from the neighboring two arms. And this is just to give you an idea. If you draw a circle around where we are, they come from right here. And the average time it takes them to get here is 2 weeks. Our union area is 5 galaxies, and that is the Milky Way, M31 Andromeda, M33 Triangulum, and the small and large Magellanic Clouds. This is our union. All of the races that are in this area are sharing this space. In the union are over 5,200 advanced races, world race. And they are advanced, and they are at peace, and we all watch out for each other. In this area, in our union area, there are relative few more races that are not advanced yet and not participating in the union yet, like us. And in our galaxy, there are exactly 103 other races, worlds, that are at about the equivalent point we're at, where we are old enough to discover other life. The other races around us are introducing themselves to us and to them. But we are one of the most difficult races for anyone to ever try to work with. And that has to change. And our government is not going to change that, we are. We're going to change that. All we have to do is get over that hump. If you have a chance to meet the alien races, take it. If your family doesn't believe you, so what? If you're so afraid that you fall down and faint, so what? Get back up and say, what's your name? Because if we don't do that, our race is not going to make it. No known race knows how old is the oldest race, how many races there are, or how many universes there are. But there is evidence that we all originated from one place. We are populating the universes. And God is greater than we ever thought. All races believe in the one same God because God teaches in every world. And God is nature and science and spirit, evolution, etc. Thank you very much.